If you like this episode, please subscribe, share with others, rate and review so we can continue to bring you great programming.
This is The Thing About Cars, a podcast for car enthusiasts and the people who love them.
Good morning, guys.
Hey.
Whatever.
Your favorite driver lose?
No, I just might have finished off that bottle of Grand Marnier Cuvée Louis Alexander last night.
Oh.
Best birthday present I've ever bought myself. Also, please don't let me near email when I'm drinking.
What?
It's a little hard to restrain you from here.
In my defense, I was unsupervised.
Hello and welcome to The Thing About Cars. I'm one of your hosts, Mickey Desai, surrounded by some really great people. It is morning here, except for where Misty is. Misty, how you doing?
Hungover. Not even gonna lie.
How goes it, Dave?
Oh, better than Misty.
Yeah. And Ben?
Oh, just fantastic as always. How about you?
Thank you for asking. I'm doing okay. It's been an interesting weekend. It's good
Yeah.
stuff. And our trivia czar, Tim. How are you, Tim?
Buenos dias. A little gravelly, but good.
We have a very short agenda for today. There's a couple things that have crossed my desk that I wanted to discuss with the gang here. But first, Tim, do you have a moment of grand trivia auto for us?
I do. Let me page down to my wonderful document here and get one that we haven't done already because no one wants to hear the same thing twice. And we're going to go with some Italian words. Time to think Italian. The words Cina, C-I-N-A, magma, metallizzato, metallizzato, M-E-T-A-L, L-I-Z-Z-A-T-O, metallizzato, Portofino.
Metallizzato. Yeah, you have to do the hand gesture.
Yeah. All right. Singapore and Venezia are all A, Fiat car models, B, Alfa Romeo car models, C, shades of a particular color used by a particular Italian car company, or D, Lancia car models. So we'll go from the top again. So the words in Italian: Cina, magma, metallizzato, Portofino, Singapore, and Venezia are all A, Fiat car models, B, Alfa Romeo car models, C, shades of a particular color used by a particular Italian car company, or D, Lancia car models. And we'll come back to that at the end of the show.
This is intriguing. Hats off to you. This has really started my morning off, in an intellectually stimulating manner.
I'm glad to have stimulated you, Dave. It's
a shame too.
Not enough men take that seriously.
Oh yeah, it's a shame too.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah.
There's a guy I would like to get on the show as a guest who is actually Italian. It's a shame we don't have him on today to help us pronounce those.
That would be good. Yeah.
Heck yeah. I tried to use the 1/4 of my Italian DNA to.
Right.
I'm limited. Italian is one of those languages that I'm limited to pretty much food, beer, and bathroom. Which, I mean, while very high on the on the ranking of importance list, it struggles. And there was although I did about die one time. We vacation. When I was still married, we would vacation very frequently in Italy. And my ex-husband went to order me a latte macchiato and just ordered a latte. And I'm like, dude, I don't drink milk.
Ben had shared this article. It was published in Slate on slate.com. The title is How Car Drivers Are Revving Up Inflation. Ben, can you give us a TLDR on that?
Insurance.
Right. Give us, right. Maybe more than one word, Ben.
Yeah. There's a little more to it than that because it's not just the insurance company's fault. I'm not saying it isn't. They probably do carry some blame there, a little bit of greedflation, I'm sure. But no, drivers are directly contributing to the seemingly skyrocketing auto insurance premiums going on right now. And The two, I guess, nutshells that fits into are choice of vehicle and bad behavior.
Okay, so it's not just insurance companies being profit mongers.
Not just. I'm sure there's some of that in there, but it's not the only thing.
So in a nutshell, drivers have to pay for their consequentially bad. They pay the consequences for their bad behavior.
We all do, yes.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like, being in, basic training in the military, and you've got one guy that messes up and then everybody ends up, moving rocks with a teaspoon or something.
Been there, done that. Not
Right.
literally
Yeah.
that punishment, but yes, I've been in the military, so yes.
I want to read this one paragraph stood out to me in this thing, and I don't know if it's worth further commenting or not, but I think that I don't. This just stands out to me. It says, since the peak of the pandemic, the car-centric lifestyle has gotten far more dangerous. The gun safety nonprofit Everytown found that by 2022, incidents of road rage shootings had nearly doubled from 2018. That's doubled in the space of 4 years. The federal government also measured record spikes in driving fatalities from 2021 to 2022. Even though that increase began to trail off in subsequent years, the sheer number of traffic deaths remains much higher than it was pre-2020. As a New York Times Magazine report noted earlier this year, a rise in aggressive and careless driving habits, speeding, running traffic lights, rushing intersections, driving drunk, and refusing to wear a seatbelt has persisted even as roadways have clogged up again, and drivers are pulling off these horrific trends while seated in bigger and bigger cars, ones which obstruct their vision and tower over smaller vehicles as well as people. This is like a horrible thing to read, right? This is just terrible. And how did we get here? What did pandemic do to us to make us all such raving assholes?
I think being told that you couldn't, and I'm going to be really honest here, having seen both sides of the pond, so to speak. In the United States, there is a significant, and you could probably say congenital lack of social responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, there's a lot of factors in that. But off the top of my head, I'm going to pull out also the fact that there's so much space between living areas. I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, like the majority of housing in the Netherlands is, say, like townhomes, or apartments, so you have to be really conscious of the fact that there are people that live to either side of you. It was probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I was putting up
They're
something
on the road, Misty. We see them. We have to see them in order to be able to shoot them.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I can say it in Dutch, yeah, ik and the rest can stikken, me, and everybody else can suffocate or can choke.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot. I see that a lot in social media. I see that a lot in some of the Discord servers I'm on. Not yours, of course. It's a delightful, lovely place. Thank you for appreciating my humor. And a lot of the Discord servers I'm on are very international, and it takes me about 45 seconds if I'm slow and hungover to recognize when an American comes into the chat. There's, so I guess what I'm saying is there's such a lack of social responsibility and social awareness. And then that was exacerbated. There's your word for the day. Wow. By a lot of the political climate in the United States, which was gravitating even more towards let me be a selfish dick nugget. And then, the government's not going to tell me what to do. And I'm like, yeah, the government kind of does tell you what to do on a daily basis. Sonny Jim, just suck it up, buttercup. So then I think that then leads to this vicious circle of aggression, and the constant fear mongering for the past almost 2 decades of, oh, they're going to take your guns away and from my cold dead hands. All right, Charlton Heston, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
And,
I think a lot of social media has brought us to the realization where, you didn't know what most of your, not necessarily friends, but neighbors and general population members really, what was really going through their minds. And now, unfortunately, we do. And we've realized there's a lot more disparity in people's views. So that great thought of the old adage of driving in traffic is that everyone who's driving slower than me is an idiot, and everyone who's driving faster than me is insane. And and now you've ratcheted that up a couple notches, realizing that I've seen all these people's opinions, and in general they're all idiots, and I'm the only one who deserves this chunk of road space or. Yeah.
But I'm going to specifically, speaking of idiots on the road space, I'm specifically calling out that woman the other day that was on the A4 in that stupid little Fiat 500 going 80 kilometers in the third lane on the A4. What the hell was your problem, woman? Sorry. That still bothered. I mean, I was on the phone with my best friend and I just went, but I didn't shoot her. Well, mainly because I don't have a gun.
Okay, so let's bring this back to something a little more practical. How do we fix it?
Oh.
Like the five of us on the show?
Sure.
Right. Dave, go. Yeah.
Well, I don't,
Sorry, I got totally derailed at dicknugget.
Yeah. The first is you don't wear a seatbelt, you lose all of your insurance coverage for that particular incident.
Yeah, I like that. But I also think that, maybe we should, as a nation, and I can still say that because I have an American passport. I don't know where it's at. My Dutch one's over here. I got an American passport somewhere. I swear to God. Stop allowing parents to teach their kids to drive. Make it mandatory. Here in the Netherlands, you have to take driving lessons from a certified driving instructor. And I think part of that should also be in order to have insurance, you need to have, like when we were in high school, we had to do the, alcohol awareness thing in order to get your learner's permit.
I remember that.
Yeah. And maybe, and I really think that helped, except for all the stupid frat boys, but also,
nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. Dick nuggets.
I mean, is it also the culture that we've had of the darn kids these days? Statement of the moment, where so many kids are their parents are not making the kids responsible for their own shortcomings and mistakes, and the helicopter parenting, the snowplow parenting. Yeah.
I think it might be an oversimplification though to blame kids.
Yeah.
Because one of the things also I find just huge numbers of students and young adults not willing to drive, not willing to have cars, and willing to forego jobs over it. I've got a young man I mentor, and the suggestion that he buy a car is just as unthinkable as changing gender.
Well, I mean, but I think maybe, with the regulated driving lessons, also include a small anger management course in there. Teach people.
Which hurts me. It hurts me to think that should actually be a requirement, but I think that's on target. Yeah.
Well, I think you're facing a multi-nation mental health crisis, because this is not strictly an American problem,
right?
Vis-a-vis the woman on the A1, the
A4.
A4, sorry.
Yeah.
Driving
an A3.
What's wrong with you?
What a dick nugget.
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with you? I don't drive on the A1.
Sauce. Yes.
All right. Well, let's shift gears here and go to our next topic then. I have here the Consumer Reports April 2024 issue, which I don't know if you guys can see. This is the car issue.
Yeah.
And there was an article in here, or a segment in here, that stood out to me. It's the brands that make the best cars. You can see that. The brands that make the best cars.
Yeah. Is that Ford?
And, Ford is actually number 17 on the list. 17.
Where's Mazda?
Mazda, I'll tell you that in a second. Where do you think Chevrolet is on the list? Any guesses above or below Ford?
Page 78.
My heart wants Chevrolet to be above Ford, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of trust in many American car makers anymore.
You're right, Misty. It's sad because Chevrolet is currently ranked at 22 if we abide by Consumer Reports' evaluation here, which makes me very unhappy. But
well, I'm just not a plastic fan, okay? Right. I mean, everybody has their moments.
Yeah, everybody has their moments. That's right. As we would expect, Toyota and Honda are in the top 10. In fact, number 10 is Hyundai or whatever we call it.
Yep. Hyundai.
Guess who's number 1?
Mazda.
Mercedes.
Nope.
No.
Volvo.
BMW.
Wow.
By
That's a little hard to
Motorpech
believe.
Yeah, this shocked me, and Ronnie should be here because he would probably have a few choice things to say about it. But BMW outranked Subaru. Subaru's number 2.
Okay, well, hang on a sec. What's the criteria here?
Apparently not electrical systems.
Or anything after 70,000 miles.
Yeah.
Or comfort.
These rankings are based on the overall score, a combination of our road test scores, predictive reliability and owner satisfaction data, and safety for all the models from each automaker.
Okay.
The top
Something
brands
tells
this year,
me that they only interviewed like the upper, 15% of the income bracket.
I don't know. I'm not sure. It is possible. But I don't know that they actually interview anybody. I think they get the cars and they give them to their staff and they drive around and they do their evaluations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the predicted reliability has to come from they do poll their subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I would say also the, customer satisfaction. So apparently only rich people subscribe to Consumer Reports.
But then even then, what is this satisfaction with new cars or with people who've owned them a few years? We don't know any of that.
Well, it says here, hang on, it says how we rank the car brands. The overall score for individual models is based on 4 key factors: Consumer Reports road test, reliability, owner satisfaction, and safety. For the road test score, we put vehicles through more than 50 tests. Predicted reliability ratings are based on problems reported by members from 20 possible trouble areas in Consumer Reports annual auto surveys. Owner satisfaction predictions are based on whether CR members said in our surveys that they'd buy the same vehicle again if given the chance.
Interesting.
And safety includes an assessment of any available crash test results and extra points assigned to the vehicles that come standard with key crash prevention systems. So BMW's number 1, Subaru's ranked number 2, right? Guess who number 3 is?
Finally, Mazda?
Porsche.
That's it. Okay. We have now successfully concluded that only rich people subscribe to Consumer Reports.
Okay. 1 to 5. BMW, Subaru, Porsche. Honda's got number 4. Lexus has number 5. Mini is number 6. Kia number 7. Mazda number 8. So the Mazda is in the top 10.
Your
Honor, the prosecution rests.
What's that, Dave?
Kia's in the top 10?
Kia, number 7, yeah.
Oh, speaking of safety.
Lotus is not on the list. Sorry.
No, of course.
Whatever. Idiots. They don't even know what they're talking about. Speaking of safety, and Tim, please beg, I humbly beg your, pardon for usurping your slight role as trivias are. Mm-hmm. I've got an interesting question for y'all. Do you happen to know when which year they first started using female crash test dummies?
Early 90s?
Have they consistently? I'm not sure. I don't know that it was ever mandated. I know some brands do it. I don't know that all brands do it.
Try 2022.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Give them a lower center of gravity and a much more obnoxious speaking function, and then that's how they did it.
Yeah. They also tend to sit closer to the steering wheel, therefore the airbags. So
I have short legs, and then plus the seatbelt. I have protrusions, people. I mean, I love my protrusions. Don't get me wrong.
I love them too, to tell you the truth. And cheap shots being what they are. But
what do you say to a coworker when they bring something like that? What do they write? They're very nice.
They are very nice. I mean, I literally ran into a pole one time. I was distracted by my own cleavage. It was nice cleavage. And if I'm not going to appreciate it, I don't care about everybody else. It's mine to appreciate. Thank you.
I'm gonna walk through some new car ratings here real quick. I'm gonna. You guys have any categories you want me to start with, like trucks or SUVs or anything like that? Any distinct items of interest?
I think for the audience, start with SUVs.
SUVs, you got it. So the subcompact SUVs, the top one is the Subaru Crosstrek, followed by the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. Under compact SUVs, the top one is the RAV4, followed by the Subaru Forester. Mid-sized SUVs, Subaru Outback, followed by the Toyota Venza. Ford Edge is number 3, surprisingly. Three-row mid-sized SUV, Toyota Highlander Hybrid, followed by the Kia Telluride. That's surprised me too. Large SUVs, the Toyota Sequoia tops out the list, followed by the Ford Expedition Max. If we look at entry-level luxury SUVs, BMW X1, luxury compact BMW X3, luxury mid-sized BMW X5, luxury mid-sized three-row Audi Q7, luxury large BMW X7. So that's where all this is coming from.
I'm underwhelmed.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking, but BMW has such a horrible reputation with electrics and with plastic parts in their engine. I'm kind of floored at this.
And even beyond that, it's bang for your buck.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if y'all remember that extended length of time between when my ex-husband's Mazda CX-5 was stolen and he was able to get the Mazda 6 and he had gotten a BMW from the pool, and I'm like, this car cost more, the sticker price was more than the Mazda CX, and you had to adjust your seat manually. It didn't even have electric seats. Excuse me, what?
Yeah.
I had a similar, I had what was it called, an X5 as a rental car on one of my trips. It costs at least twice what my CX5 does, and it didn't even have heated seats that my car has, and mine has cooled. Now the X5 had all these other wonderful, G-gauze and gym cracks that I honestly don't need, like a button to raise and lower the car by like an inch if somebody short is getting in, and that's not going to help them.
Hey.
It wouldn't have helped. No, it was still a high seat. Also had a little like a split tailgate thing. Okay, big whoop.
All right, Misty, here's sorry, go ahead.
Didn't have useful stuff that my car did, and it cost twice as much.
Exactly.
Yeah. Here's Misty's category: 2-seat sports cars, of which the Mazda MX-5 is one of them. At the top of the list, the Porsche 718 Boxster, priced here at $69,000 and change. It
Dude,
gets
for that,
top
I
marks.
can get 2 Miatas.
It gets top marks for fit and finish and for routine handling.
Certainly not for cabin noise.
Yeah.
Well, hang on, hold that thought, Dave, because after the Boxster is the Toyota Supra, followed by the Chevy Corvette, and then number 4 is the Mazda MX-5 Miata. It gets docked for noise. The Porsche did not.
Driving a Boxster is one of the loudest things I ever did in my life, and I'd like to remind you, I spent 23 years working at the airport.
And so, I mean, I think that's a valid, that's an extremely valid opinion,
Yeah.
I mean, typically, when you get to a smaller, lighter vehicle, and your goal is lightness, you lose a lot of sound deadening pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Porsches become quite plush.
Right.
Yes.
So that's the extent of my agenda for today. Does anyone else have anything they want to talk about in relation to Consumer Reports or to human behavior behind the wheel?
I have several things that need defining.
Okay.
Nuggets, Jaws, Jim Jaws, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I'm going to tell you right now, save yourself. Do not look up Dick Nugget on Urban Dictionary.
I wouldn't even
totally destroyed my faith in mankind.
I wouldn't even Google it without safe search on. But I think in the interest of, the general education, we're just going to start a GoFundMe and buy you a dictionary for Christmas.
There we go.
Not just an Urban Dictionary.
Well, I mean, we could buy you one of those too. Well, there was an F1 race today, sort of.
Well, before we talk F1, Ben, did you have something?
Yeah.
Oh, just one small thing I thought of in the unlikely. Well, I don't know. It's not that unlikely. If we possibly get this out before the event actually happens, wanted to remind everybody that Atlanta British Motor Car Day is May 19th in Suwanee.
This episode, if we go according to what's in the hopper, will not go out before.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But we can try to accelerate it. I could try to double up again. We
don't have to do that. I was just thinking ahead a little.
Okay.
Right.
So those of you who are listening to this, we hope you enjoyed British Car Day in Suwanee on May 19th.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So using your future vision, Ben, how awesome was the event?
Oh man, I'll tell you. Man, I'll tell you what.
Lots of interesting cars and interesting people.
Oh yeah. I almost stole a stag.
Nice.
But did they have corn dogs?
No.
Thank
Why would they have
Listen.
corn dogs at British Car Day?
Why
I
not?
don't know. I mean, it's okay.
Because
I'm sorry.
peppers on a stick smell.
Right. You have to have fish and chips and
Cornish pasties.
shepherd's pie. Yeah.
Speaking of, I have an amazing recipe for fish and chips to do the actual breading on the fish. If anybody wants that, hit me up. It is unbelievable.
We'll post that to the website. That'll.
Yeah, because it was just it was that good. It was that good.
So to wrap up the Consumer Reports piece, the only parts of this, or among the parts of this that I haven't really delved into yet, they have a big section on EVs, another section on fuel mileage, best fuel mileage in various cars. I haven't done the dig on that yet, but maybe we'll talk about that later. So,
Would I be out of line if I say I'm starting to get the feeling that Consumer Reports is just a way for rich people to justify vanity purchases?
you know, you can say what you got to say, Misty. It's our opinion. We have no relationship with Consumer Reports, just in case that was ever up for
Right.
And
debate.
my experience with rich people is they don't need to justify vanity purchases.
Yeah,
Well-
my take on Consumer Reports has always been more like kind of boring middle class, excessively practical minded people.
That's
It
what my
used to
take-
be.
yeah.
Yes.
It used to be, which was why my stepfather subscribed for like 30 years or
My
something.
dad too, yeah.
But I mean, but based on this, which is, on what you're telling me now, from their studies, it seems the demographic has shifted.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't subscribe since, yes, I've already made all my appliance purchases. But yeah,
All right.
they've always gone much more to the hard data and don't give as much of the emotional, visceral report weighting in their ratings.
Yeah, what was that? And Jaguar's not even on the list, right? So there's
Interesting.
nowhere an ad campaign that says Jaguar, so you can get hand jobs from people you don't know or whatever that was out of that movie. And remember the movie Crazy People from the 80s?
Oh, yes.
Well, there's one for me to look up, I guess. That's
Well, Misty, can we talk F1 in 4 minutes or less?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that exciting, and this was China. I think the cutest thing was, besides Lando, who was P2.
Yes.
Sorry, spoilers. I love Lando. He's such a cutie. Didn't quite know where to put his car, so he put it in the wrong place and had like to jog down. But the really super cute thing was they had like little designated parking for Zhou Guanyu, who is Chinese, and
Right.
it was just the cutest little thing. There wasn't a whole lot, there wasn't a whole lot of drama. It didn't really rain, which was, I'm like, whatever. There was drama in the sprint race because I think Lewis had pole for the sprint race, and then for the it's not a race, for the sprint.
right. Whatever it
Fight
is.
me, FIA. But qualifying for the Grand Prix today, he started in P18.
Yes, and worked his way up to finish 9th. Yeah, so which is quite
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
For me, the most exciting and unexpected part of the weekend were the two fires that occurred on Friday, and they were not a car that was on fire. It was not equipment in the pits that was on fire. It was technically the grass on the side of the track that caught fire, which was made even stranger by it had rained earlier that morning and rained very heavily the day before.
Yeah.
And in the construction of the Shanghai circuit, which was about 15 years ago, they built it on top of marshland that they then filled in. And apparently there was marsh gas that is leaking up, particularly at this one turn, and the cars produce sparks occasionally as the bottom rubs against the track, and it managed to catch the marsh gas and the grass near where it was seeping out from the ground on fire, and it happened twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was pretty awesome. It was, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, there were no support races. It was all F1. But it was really touching to see how the Chinese crowd, reacted to Zhou, and just basically enjoying watching Carlos Sainz give the big middle finger to Ferrari, saying, "Fire me, fine, I'll do really well."
Yes.
So
Tim, take us out. Trivia, the Grand Trivia Auto.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So to take this great tongue twister from the top, in thinking in Italian, you must think Italian. The words Sina, magma, metallizzato, Portofino, Singapore, and Vinassia are all A, Fiat car models, B, Alfa Romeo car models, C, shades of a particular color used by a particular Italian car company, or D, Lancia car models. And Misty, you've been to Italy the most recently out of all of us, so I'll go to you first.
I'm going to go with C.
Okay. Dave.
Shades of a color.
Okay. Ben.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And Mickey.
It's unanimous. We're all saying C. I've got it. That was my thought from the very, very start.
Right. Yes. And those are all various shades of red that are used by Ferrari.
And sounds about right.
Yeah.
For me, it was the magma and the Sina, because I was like,
that's it.
Magma and Sina. What makes
the metallic was the one for me.
Okay. Yeah. and I tried really hard not to say magma, like
magma.
Magma, yes.
Magma.
But there's and for a person who is has a color deficiency in his vision, it's it's not until you go to a Ferrari or Italian car day and see all the different Ferraris lined up, and 90% of them are red, but they're many different shades of red, and you go, is that right? Well, did these get repainted? Going, well, I thought you think Ferrari red, but no, there's
there's
different
not just
cars
candy apple red.
Right. And cars will look better in different shades of the same color, and that's that's a huge part of car design, is getting just that right shade that complements a particular car's lines.
Good stuff. Thank you, Tim. On behalf of my friends here, to our listeners, please be safe out there on the road. Let's extend a little kindness wherever we can. Wear your seatbelts, and we will look forward to seeing you with another episode in roughly a week. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Ciao.
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 Thank you for listening. This has been The Thing About Cars. We'll see you on the road.